Here are the instructions for the Civic Engagement Project. This is an out-of-class project. Assignment Overview. One of the goals of UF200 is to examine the ethical dilemmas and civic issues that directly affect several diverse populations at the local, national, and global level, and review how their understanding of their own cultural and ethical frameworks affects how they might view an ethical dilemma. Through this assignment, you will consider your own role within the world. By actively participating through this assignment, you will study ethical and civic issues in your own community. Choose an agency or event that is helping an oppressed human population. Please don't pick an animal shelter or climate change or stopping drinking or smoking. The activities for this assignment must be an out-of-classroom experience. It will probably take you between 4 to 6 hours in total, including making your project file. This experience should be one that you would not normally take part in, so if you already work at a food bank, you must do something different. If you have questions, please ask me about your chosen activity. Quick start list of requirements. This is meant to be just an overview of everything that happens. 1. Complete an out-of-classroom activity and take a photo of yourself at that activity. 2. Answer the underlying goal of your chosen activity while you are doing the activity. 3. Answer all of the content needed while doing the activity. See the list below for activities. 4. Create a project file for all of your answers that is a PowerPoint or Prezi or video or mind map, which uses mostly images and very minimal text to illustrate your answers. Activities. Out-of-classroom civic engagement activities. Choose one activity. Be sure to take photos of yourself somewhere at this activity and of your activity if possible. If necessary, take photos outside of the building or event. Activity number 1. Visit a local community resource or agency. See a separate list that is attached for the City of Boise. Visit an agency that provides resources to reduce the impact of a human rights violation on a specific oppressed population. Take photos where possible. You must talk to someone at this organization about why, what, and how they provide resources and get some written information such as a brochure. The goal is to get information about a local resource in your community that addresses the oppression of a specific population. You must get this information from a person who works there and describe the agency's mission and services provided. Activity number 2. Attend a local community event that provides information about human rights violations, a rally, a movie, or a fundraiser, something like that. Take photos where possible, get brochures, and take notes. Then describe your experience to someone else, a relative, friend, coworker, or roommate, and find out how your story affects them. The goal is to gain information from an event that provides information about the oppression of a specific population that exists in your local community. You must then provide that information to another person and get feedback from that person. Activity number 3. Volunteer at a local community resource or agency that provides resources to reduce the impact of a human rights violation on a specific oppressed population who is experiencing human rights violations. Take photos where possible. The activity must take at least 1 to 2 hours. The goal is to get information about a local resource in your community, and by volunteering, build your understanding of an ethical issue, the oppression of a specific population that is being oppressed, and whose oppression is addressed by that agency. Activity number 4. Visit a local church that you do not know anything about. You do not have to attend a church service, but you might find that attending a service is the best way to describe what happens there. Take photos where possible. The goal is to learn about a religious community that is new to you and find out what resources that church provides for people in the community. Talk to someone who attends or works at that church with the goal of obtaining the following information: the religious beliefs of the church, the demographic of who attends, how their church worship services are presented and by whom, and finally, find out what resources the church provides to people in the community who are in need, or to reduce the impact of human rights violations of those people who are in need. This might be events, education, money, shelters, food, etc. Does the church also provide global help? Activity 5. Do some research about laws, policies, and resources that work to provide safety to any one population that experiences human rights violations by contacting somebody in local or state government, or by visiting City Hall or the state capitol in your local community. Take photos where possible. You can start your research online, but you must speak to someone, provide their name and title please, who is in local government to complete your research. The goal is to find out what types of resources or laws are allocated to address an ethical issue, the oppression of a specific population experiencing human rights violations in your local community, city, or state. Make a list of the resources, policies, and/or laws by title and provide a summary of each. Activity 6. Propose another activity and goals to your instructor. You must have the permission of the instructor to complete an activity that does not belong to one of the 5 activities listed above. Content list. Choose one type of file: PowerPoint, Prezi, mind map, or video. Before you begin your activity, consider the following prompts. You will need to answer all of these as well as the underlying goal for your chosen activity. Please do not do this as a paper. I have listed the minimum number of slides necessary to complete each prompt. Suggestion: label your PowerPoint slides or your Prezi bubbles or your map bubbles with each of the required prompts that are listed below, and then fill them in with the images and text that answer that prompt. Content. 1. An introduction. Describe what activity you chose and why you chose it. Why was this activity meaningful for you? Try to include proof of your participation by providing at least one photo of yourself engaged in the activity or outside of the building if you can't take photos of the activity or people. There should be 2 or more slides. Describe what you hope to learn from this experience before you completed it. Describe how the activity met the goal. See the underlined portion of your chosen activity, probably 2 slides or more. Describe your actual experience in completing this project, including your actions and the reactions of people, if applicable, whom you met during this experience. Describe the setting, location, and who was there. About 3 slides. What oppressed population in the community was addressed by the activity or agency or church you chose? If you visited a church, what oppressed population do they serve in the community? Please do not discuss the religious group whose church you visited as the oppressed population. That is not what I'm asking you to do. These questions need to be answered. What is the ethical issue and what population is being oppressed? 1 or more slides. Describe the facts or information you gained from conversations that took place at the event that are about that population. 1 or more slides. List the articles from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that you believe is being violated. 1 or more slides. You don't need to give the entire article. What is the ethical issue and what population is being oppressed? Describe the facts or information you gained from conversations that took place at the event about that population. List the article from the UDHR that you believe is being violated. Show how this ethical issue, the oppression of a specific population, if you visited a church, what oppressed populations do they serve in their community? Show how this population also exists at a global level. Find 2 sources that discuss the issue at a global level. Include mostly images and a text summary of your sources. Include citations, not just links for the 2 sources you found. Describe how this project helped you relate to your own sense of understanding about issues in your community. Describe the following: how your understanding of your own cultural identity and your sense of power or lack of power impacts your perspective about this experience. Tell us how your chosen career or major might change your sense of power or lack of power. Describe the following about your responsibility to your community. What is your responsibility to the community? What ethical framework may drive you to take on this responsibility? This is about 2 slides. How might you take action to remediate or reduce the impact of human rights violations over the course of your time as a student? How will you take action as a working citizen? This is 2 slides. Turning in this assignment, choose one of these possible methods to answer all the questions in the content list and the underlying goals, and illustrate your civic engagement project. Please do not write a paper. Create a PowerPoint or Prezi. In your PowerPoint or Prezi, illustrate what you learned from your experience using all of the content listed above. You will probably have a minimum of 20 slides in PowerPoint or 20 bubbles in Prezi, but there is no maximum. Use slides as illustrations with many images. Please don't use a lot of text or any paragraphs. Try to have only 1 or 2 very short, incomplete sentences per slide or less. If necessary, you may use the notes section of each slide to explain that slide. But your slide should also illustrate in images and minimal text the point you make in the notes. Think about books for children. They are mostly pictures that tell a story. Your PowerPoint or Prezi should tell the story that is illustrated by the slides. These slides should be well organized according to the required content. Make a video or film of your experience. Speak about your experience in a way that describes what you learned, answering all of the required content listed above. Please include at least 20 photos, pictures, illustrations, or film clips of your activity in the video. You may also appear narrating the video, but this cannot be the entire video. The video must be well organized according to the content list. Make a mind map of your experience. This must describe what you learned from your experience using all of the prompts in the content list. You should have a minimum of 20 boxes, and there is no maximum. Your mind map should have a minimal text and mostly use illustrations or photos or pictures of what you learned. Your map can have audio or music. Be creative. You might make more than one map for this assignment. Make it a journey, not just a statement. Here is a tutorial from iMap. You can use any program you are familiar with or are interested in learning about. The map should be well organized according to the required content. Grading. This assignment will be graded based on the rubric provided in the instructions. You can also see the rubric in Blackboard. Sorry about the doorbell ringing.